Hi there. A very good evening and welcome to BYJU'S exam prep. I am meeting you guys for the first time after the CAT got over. I hope the CAT went well. I was there, of course, on the day of the exam with you on our YouTube channel, and I could talk to some people who were not very happy and disappointed, and that generally happens when the exam is difficult. And therefore, by now you know that you need to really wait for the results and then focus on the upcoming exams. So let's go ahead and focus on one of those upcoming exams today, and that is SNAP. So if you're watching me on YouTube and you're new to our channel, welcome, and don't forget to subscribe and press the bell icon. My name is Vikrant. I am your personal coach for all things related to English and communication skills. I occasionally also go ahead and talk about the psychological aspects of preparation here and there. So if you happen to have any questions, issues or concerns, do drop them in the chat window on the app or on YouTube, and I would love to hear from you. Although since I have to look at 3 places now, I may not be always very prompt, but hopefully I will get to whatever you share eventually. So good evening Arnav, Sonali, Shweta, Ayushi, Kaushal and Aman. So here are some key things about SNAP. So paper pattern is going to be vastly different from the CAT. So here it is. So it's a 60-minute exam that asks you 60 questions divided across 3 segments. You wouldn't even call them sections. There is no time limit for every individual section. So 15 of these 60 are English questions. Another 25 odd are analytical and logical reasoning questions. Now some of these are verbal reasoning questions, okay, things like syllogisms, etc. So you need to work on that part with us as well. And then finally around 20 odd questions on quant and DI. So those of you who are not very comfortable, very confident about quant, I think you still get this opportunity to solve a lot of formula based quant questions which are easier, but then you have to improve your question selection, etc. And here is the marking scheme for you, right? And then if I talk about the next bit, the analysis of the last year's exam specifically, then this is what we had. So as you can see, general English consistently across the slots has been very easy. Oh, and by the way, this also happens to be one of those exams where you have no RC. Okay, then analytical and logical reasoning is mostly easy, at times a bit moderate. In the last slot it became moderate to difficult, but then as you can see, quantitative ability is once again easy to moderate. And coming specifically to the English section, now we had 15 questions. Now out of those there were 6 questions that were based purely on vocabulary. So we had, so when I say number of questions 6, I'm saying number of vocabulary questions. Let me just add it here. Number of vocabulary questions out of those 15 was 6. So what all did the exam test us on vocabulary? So there were these couple of fill in the blank questions. Similarly, you had one spelling based question, but then it was asked in only one of those 3 slots. It was not in slot 2. Then you had 2 questions which were based on idioms and phrases. You had 1 or 2 synonyms and antonym based questions. Now when I say 1 or 2, it depended on the slot, right? So in some slots you had one such question, in some you actually had 2 such questions. Then there was this one question which was based on compound words in one of those slots, right? So compound words are words that are made up of more than one part. There are times when 2 words come together to create a word. For example, you notice this word that I'm writing here right now, website. That's a compound word, okay? It is created by combining web and site. So they gave you 4 words, they asked you which one of these is not a compound word, right? And then there were some questions based on prefixes and suffixes, where they gave you a prefix or a suffix, they gave you the meaning, and they asked you which of the following words does not have this prefix or does not have this suffix. And finally we had one question based on proverbs in one of these 2 slots. So I typically think of proverbs as something that goes with idioms and phrases. So you can think of it as 2 to 3 questions that are based on idiomatic expressions. That will include idioms, that will include phrasal verbs, and of course within that we'll also be able to go ahead and talk about proverbs. Gautam, Gaurav, take a session on NMAT replica vocab if possible some other time before. Gautam, all these snap sessions that you attend, they will have quite a few vocabulary based questions too, and those questions are more or less similar to what you tend to get asked in NMAT. The only difference is that in NMAT, the difficulty level for the words could be a tad bit higher. So when I say higher, I mean, at the end of the day, how do you define what is difficult and what is not in vocabulary? If you know the meaning of a word, it's easy. If you do not, it's difficult. So NMAT may have this tendency to give you words which are not as frequent as the ones that are given to us in SNAP. So they may get into words which are not that high frequency words as compared to SNAP, and that can at times make it a tad bit more, a shade more difficult. But otherwise, I think attending all these sessions will essentially go ahead and be useful for that too. And Arnav says, will this vocab session be useful to us for ZAT as well? See, in ZAT, we get only one vocabulary based question, and that vocabulary based question is fill in the blank. So will this session help? Yes. Will vocabulary help? Yes. Though, let me warn you that the ZAT fill in the blank question challenges you in more ways than once. So vocabulary is just one part of the mix there. They typically give you a sentence with 4 blanks, fill in the blank with 4 blanks. So that can be a little bit challenging in terms of comprehension, logic and grammar too. But yes, to a certain extent, it is something that will help. Ankit is saying that my voice is quite low. Can the others? In fact, I can check it at my end too. Let me just check it. You might hear an echo briefly, but I'd be able to verify it then. I think it's all right. The voice is not that, the sound is not that low. It appears all right. I can just readjust the position of my lapel. Maybe that helps. I can come back to it in a little while and then we can look at it. But I hope it should help. So let us go ahead and look at this analysis. So basically, I'll take you through all of these different types. So let us start with some synonym based questions. And here goes the first one. So identify the synonym of the given word. The word that I've given to you is exigency, and your job is to tell me the meaning of this particular word. So go ahead, share it with me and we can have a look. So I know one of the problems is that you and I are not exactly working in real time. There is a lag of 10-15 seconds, but the moment I get 2-3 answers, I will start. Okay, so I have received 2 answers. I've received A, I've received C. It is a slightly tricky question. So let us start off by looking at the meanings of these different words. So exigency. Now exigency comes from a Latin word which essentially means urgency, right? So it has exigentia, which is urgency. And then if you look at the verb form in Latin, exigere, it means to demand or to require. So basically, exigency is an emergency situation. The situation is urgent and it demands immediate action. So exigency, something that is necessary in a particular situation that requires or demands immediate aid, immediate action. So out of these, which one should we choose? Requirement, not that great. Would it be scarcity? Scarcity basically means shortage. It means in short supply. Can it be abundance? Abundance means something that is available in great quantity. And then you have convenience. Convenience is anything that makes a situation easy for you by reducing the amount of work or by reducing the time of work, all those things. So actually, if I look at it, none of these 4 can be termed a synonym. But if we use the process of elimination, I'd say that A comes the closest, right? Although I would like to add something like an urgent requirement to it, that will probably bring it closer still, but the best answer choice is going to be option A if we are looking for a synonym. Then that's the beauty of it. Synonyms are words with similar meaning. There are times, but then there are times when you look at the answer choices and you're forced to be logical about it. So B, C, and D can be eliminated over A, although in isolation I think I'd probably eliminate that too, but this happens to be the closest one. So with that, let's move over to our next question. Here it is on your screen. There you go. So answer is A. Here is your question number 2. So identify the synonym of the given word, and the word that is given to you is onerous. So onerous, what should that mean? Singularity, burdensome, joyous, sentimental, what? And when you share the answer with me, do write the question number as well, okay? Otherwise, there are times when, because these questions don't take much time, I end up getting confused with which question you'd answered. I end up discussing answers which were not even for that question. Okay, so I'm getting a lot of B's, lot of B's here. Okay, so let's check. So what is onerous? Onerous is something which is difficult and demanding. Onerous is something that requires a lot of effort. For example, getting a 99 percentile in any of these exams is going to be an onerous task. Then you have this word called singularity, which a lot of us know from science fiction movies. But then let me talk about some of the secondary meanings as well. So singularity can, you won't believe it, it can refer to the quality of being strange, weird. Okay, and then singularity in the context of AI also refers to an event that will happen in future, where technology goes on to become much more intelligent than humans. So people believe that such a time will come. So that is also called singularity. Any connection with onerous? I don't see one. Burdensome is causing difficulties, or something that causes a lot of or something that demands a lot of effort. Joyous is something that someone who is happy. And then sentimental, I don't even need to tell you. So out of the 4, if I have to choose one, we'd go ahead and choose B as an answer. So for question number 2, if you're looking for a synonym, you should mark B as your answer. So burdensome it is. And here is question number 3. The word is panacea, and I'm waiting for your answer. Okay, Akanksha, I see that. All right, so let's check. So panacea actually happens to have a root involved. It's called pan. You can call it a prefix for that matter. Pan means all. So if a brand has pan-Indian presence, it is present in all of the country. So similarly, when you say panacea, panacea is basically a cure-all, or a cure for everything. So will a cure for everything be a curse? Mind you, we're looking for a synonym. Nope. Across a continent? No relation at all. A universal remedy? Yup. A pervading ailment basically means an illness. So panacea is not an illness, it is a cure. So D is also ruled out. And that is why the best answer choice for us is option C. So a lot of people or a lot of cultures call different things a panacea. So I remember there are quite a few friends of mine, for them alcohol was a problem to, was a solution to all problems. So they considered it a panacea. My mother thinks eating is a panacea. जुकाम है कुछ खा लो, बीमार हो कुछ खा लो, अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है कुछ खा लो, पता नहीं, मतलब खाना is a solution for everything there. Okay, here is the next one. Question number 4, the word is alleviate, pretty everyday. Let's hope how you deal with this. Don't forget to write the question number when you answer, huh? Okay, so if something alleviates your pain, then it means that it reduces your pain, and because we are looking for a synonym, we should have no hesitation in picking up C as our answer. So alleviate reduces something negative. Okay, so it's a word which is used with something negative. So if something alleviates your anxiety, it reduces your anxiety and therefore makes you feel better. So therefore the answer for fourth should be option C. And here is the next one. Slightly more challenging than alleviate, but let us see how we deal with it. Capricious. Okay, Akanksha, that was quick. So here is the meaning of capricious for you. So if there is a person who is capricious, he has these mood swings, right? Where his mood changes without any rhyme or reason. And it is sudden, it is unexpected. I think another synonym that I can give you is this word called mercurial. And there is one more synonym available in the answer choices which most of you have picked up, and that is whimsical. Let's have a quick look at the other words. So undeterred. If you are undeterred, it means that you continue to do something despite difficulties. You continue to remain enthusiastic about doing it despite the situation being bad. Then unnerving. To unnerve somebody is to make someone feel less confident and slightly frightened. So any experience which is unnerving is supposed to frighten you along with reducing your level of confidence. Whimsical, you know, is the answer, so you already know the meaning. And then whine. If you whine, especially as a child, it means that you complain repeatedly. You express your unhappiness, your disappointment repeatedly. So I do we still need to go there? I don't want to go there. That kind of a behavior that you typically see from a lot of kids. That's called whining. So now that all these meanings are also taken care of, let's move over to, so the answer once again is C for question number 5, and here is your next question. Where we are moving into a separate category. So far we were looking at synonyms, and now I'd ask you for antonyms. So give me the antonym of venerated. This looks easy. Okay. So venerated basically means respected. Okay. So this is the synonym, but we are not looking for synonyms, so you can rule it out. So venerated is a higher degree of respect. So it's just a difference of degrees there. Glorified in the same ballpark. Neglected can be an antonym, but then reviled goes further into being opposite. See, what is reviled? Reviled, when you revile something, you deeply dislike it, you hate it. Neglect simply means to ignore it, even though you were supposed to pay attention. In revile, you hate. So, I think if you're looking for a diametrically opposite word, you can actually go ahead and pick up reviled, and therefore, between the two, we'll eliminate C and opt for D. So, for question number 6, our answer should be reviled, and here is your next question. Got you there, right? Craven. Oh, meaning of revile, to criticize someone strongly, to show your deep dislike towards something or someone, to say unpleasant things. Okay, so that's closer to being the dictionary definition, but let's get into this. So craven basically is a synonym of coward. So there you go. It's again a higher degree of cowardliness. So somebody is very cowardly. Okay, somebody who is not at all brave is called craven. So since coward is a synonym, let's rule it out. Honest has got nothing to do with the coward, I'd reckon. But then you have this word called valiant. Valiant is very brave, determined, especially when the going is tough, when the things are difficult, when it is easy for people to lose hope. If somebody still hopes and still shows determination and bravery and courage, then you call that person valiant. And therefore, I'd say that for this particular question, the best answer is going to be, the best antonym is going to be valiant. And with that, let me take you into your next question. The word is affluent. Go ahead and share your answer. We are looking for antonyms. So the best answer here is option C. Affluent basically means somebody who is rich, very rich. It's a higher degree. Okay. So there are people who are rich, then there are people who are affluent, and then there are people who are opulent. So means poor, and that is why that goes on to become the answer. Abundant will not be an antonym for sure. People who are affluent have a life of abundance. So considering antonym, Vedu, I think we can rule out A. Here is question number 9. Vaibhav, suffering from cat quantake. Man, we are people who have gone through multiple heartaches. Quantake is a tiny thing compared to that. Okay, so the word is exacerbate, and you are looking for an antonym. I can tell you, you've already met one antonym of exacerbate. Remember a few questions ago where we met this word, alleviate? That's an antonym right there. So exacerbate basically means to make. My voice is not coming. Oh, hang on, Himalaya. Let me check. And the others, please don't mind the echo once again. I'm just checking. I'm getting the sound loud and clear at my end, yeah. I am also tuned into the YouTube channel. So to make a bad situation worse. To make a bad situation worse. I can just check. No, there is no filter. Okay, there is no filter that is on, and we are not even muffling it either. Nope, no noise cancellation, nothing, guys. So should work, but I can just quickly check why I can just try to speak louder. That's all that I can do at the moment, it seems. So let us hope that that works. Okay? So I'll just try and be louder. Let's hope that it works. Better? Okay, so exacerbate is to make a bad situation worse. So let us say that you happen to have some pain and now my video is stuck. Come on, what's wrong? Damn, the voice worked, but then it ended up pausing the video at my end. Yeah. I don't know what's happening with this particular session today. Let me just try and see if I can work with it briefly, huh? Give me one extra second, guys. I'm here with you, but then I think I need to reboot my video and reset it all. It's good for, these kind of things. They at least make the sessions a little more memorable for me. It's going to take me 5 seconds more and you'll be able to see me once again. There you go. Okay, so that fixed the audio, but it messed up, I think, the video a bit. It's all right. It is what it is. There are days, and okay, and hopefully now the audio should also be all right. So let's see. Now that I've rebooted it, I think that has also helped me in increasing the volume a tad bit. Okay, so if I already have some pain in my shoulders and I try to lift something, it might make that pain worse. So I'd say that movement exacerbates the pain, increases the pain. So aggravate is going to be a synonym, but mitigate means to make it better. So that's going to be the antonym, and that is why our answer to question number 9 should be mitigate. And then there were some messages that I made: mitigate, assuage, curtail, Ritik. All of these are synonyms. Are there differences? Yes. By definition, synonym is a word with similar meanings. But then I think if we start getting into those nitty gritties, it will basically be pretty challenging. Okay, question number 10. The word is succulent, and mind you, you're looking for the antonym. Those of you, I'll give you a hint, those of you who are interested in gardening will probably find it useful. Will find it easy. Okay, so diving into it, succulent basically, okay, one of the meanings of succulent is juicy, right? So if I say succulent food, then it is going to be like pleasantly juicy food. But then succulents are also plants like cactus that happen to have rather thick leaves and stem, and they can store a lot of water. So if you're looking for opposites, truculent simply means somebody who argues a lot or fights a lot. For example, I can say he's a typical truculent teenager. Juicy will be a synonym, so that's ruled out. Withered, on the other hand, basically means dry and decaying. Succulents are like juicy, full of water. Withered is dry. That's the opposite. So undeveloped will not be related, and that is why our answer to this particular question should be option C. Withered is just the opposite of succulent. And with that, let us get into the next one, which is next segment, where I'm going to challenge you using some fill in the blank questions. And here is the first one. So what's your take? So in fill in the blank questions, the first thing that we do is that we read the entire sentence, trying to get a sense of what the author wants to communicate. So these blank or dash reporters go deep into the war-torn regions at great risk to their lives to bring us stories of the horrors of war. So let's look at the meanings of these words quickly. So the very first one here is invidious. Invidious is something that is likely to cause unhappiness, or something that is likely to be unpleasant, especially because it is unfair. So if I have to probably give you the meaning, I'd say it is something that is unfair and because of that unpleasant. Does that make sense? Is there a good adjective to use for reporters in this sentence? No, it won't even make sense. You cannot call these reporters fearful because they are going to regions at great risk. So you can eliminate this. Skeptical is somebody who is doubtful, somebody who is uncertain. But then that once again makes no sense in this sentence. But intrepid basically means fearless and brave. So somebody who is going to places like war-torn regions, taking great risk, can definitely be called intrepid, and therefore our answer to question number 11 should be okay. So this year has been a disaster for the government with an dash round of unnecessary spending that sent inflation through the roof and led to a destructive rise in interest rates. What should we choose? with an exorbitant round of unnecessary spending. Well, that can work. Ornate basically means something that is decorated. So I think I'm already thinking that we can rule out ornate for sure. Then you have oblivious. Oblivious means not paying attention to something. Okay, so if you are oblivious to the challenges around you, it means that you are ignorant of those challenges around you. You are not very sure of those challenges around you. Then we have this word called exiguous. Exiguous basically means paltry, insignificant, right? Very small in size or amount. So I still remember quite a few years ago when I moved towns, I was teaching at colleges, and the college at the new town, I applied to it for the position of a guest faculty, and they offered me an exiguous rate of pay. So exiguous rate of pay will be rate of pay which was very small in amount. So there you go. So I think exiguous can also be ruled out. Oblivious, a round cannot be oblivious, only people can be oblivious. So B, C and D are ruled out. The best answer choice turns out to be A, and that is something that most of you have actually gone on to choose. So that's the correct answer. Here is the next question for you now. So that's question number 13. Oh, Vaibhav, I have not done my MBA. I have done my master's in psychology. I have science background prior to that, and then I have taught at colleges. So Delhi University is one of those places where I have taught at. And then of course I have been part of the coaching landscape for this is my 23rd year of teaching now, so long time now. Although I have done quite a few other things in the world of management, but yeah. I think the first word that we need to look at here is the word in the sentence itself, unequivocal. Unequivocal is expressed in a very clear way. When you equivocate, you do not state anything with clarity. But if you say the Prime Minister was unequivocal, is absolutely clear in maintaining that we cannot be dash in actions that dash international law and our own sense of decency. So let's check. So let's go blank by blank. We cannot be condescending in actions that do something to international law. Condescending means to look down upon something. So even grammatically, condescending is not going to work here. So we can rule out condescending. We cannot be complicit in actions. Complicit basically means involved in some action that is wrong, okay, or to know about a crime and yet stay silent. So basically to do something that is wrong. So complicit can go. Can we use implicit? Implicit means suggested but not stated directly. We cannot be implicit in actions. Nah, won't work. We cannot be condone in action. See, it is grammatically incorrect. Condone is not supposed to be followed by in. But what do we mean by condone? Condone basically means to accept or allow a behavior that is wrong. So for example, if I say if the government is seen to condone violence, accepts violence or allows violent behavior, then the bloodshed will never stop. Okay, if the government is seen to condone violence, the bloodshed will never stop. So condone is also ruled out. So we don't even need to look at the second blank. Actually the answer has to be option B. We can quickly look at the meanings otherwise. So align basically means in line with, violate means to flout a rule or a law, or to break a law. Commiserate is to express sympathy with somebody who is going through some tough situation. And infringe is once again to act in a way that is against the law, or to act in a way that limits the rights of someone else, right? So these are the rest of the words. And then answer is B, complicit and violate. And here is your next question. Vineet says, sir, are going to give the snap? Sir, are, as in I could not understand here. Vineet, we do have a snap exam happening on 10th of December. So if you have applied, that's the first slot. If you have applied to it, then yes, you will be writing it this year. Am I writing it this year? No, I am not writing snap this year. I wrote the cat. I will definitely write the zat. I am thinking of writing my cat. That's what I have been thinking of so far. Okay, I think two of these options are synonyms, so I can straight away rule those out. Because if one goes, the other will also go. Wisdom and sagacity are both synonyms. I haven't even looked at the sentence. I can eliminate it, because if you choose sagacity, how would you eliminate wisdom then? And because it is a fiasco, you cannot use success. So I think it does involve a bit of GK here, where you've seen what happened at OpenAI, where the board fired the CEO, and then their funders plus a lot of their employees rallied behind the CEO, and thus the board had to give in, and then Sam Altman was restated, and all but one member of that board is now out of the board. So they tried to polish technologies using corporate structure, board which is pushing the CEO out, but then they failed, and therefore folly, which is a synonym for mistake, should be the right answer. So D is what we should go ahead and mark as our answer for question number 14. Here is the next one for you. Do we even have that as a word? Let me check. I'm looking at one of these and I'm like, is this even a word? No, it isn't. So any word whose meaning is not clear to you, anything that you want me to chime in with that can make your life easy here? Okay, so the word that I was looking at was hyperbolation. It does not even exist as a word, so I can rule it out. Epitomization is, again, I've never seen this in the noun form in this way. I mean, this, in a process word. So we do know that we have this word called epitome. Epitome is an ideal or the best example for something, right? Although she's in her 60s, she's still the epitome of royal elegance. So that's epitome. Emerging technologies and epitomization. So even that won't work. So I think B and D are definitely out. Euphemism is to use a positive word or a less harsh, less offending, more politically correct word instead of a word which is harsh or impolite. So for example, I can use the word pornography. I can use the word adult entertainment. So you notice both of these are talking about the same thing, but adult entertainment is a euphemism for pornography. So emerging technologies, a euphemism for capabilities that rely on a combination of cyber tech, AI, unmanned systems, advanced computing. Yeah, this works. Is in vogue among most militaries. Vogue basically means something that is in fashion. So if something is in vogue, it means that it is in fashion. Both of these words do go into these blanks, but let's look at C. A nomenclature for capabilities that rely, okay, is in crisis among most militaries. Now, the crisis won't work in the second blank. Nomenclature simply means a system of naming things, especially in certain branches of science, certain areas of science. So nomenclature can still go in the first blank, but crisis won't in the second. So C is ruled out, and the best answer for us as a result is option A. So that's question number 15 for you. And now I'm taking you over to your next category, which is idioms, phrasal verbs, proverbs. So I'll give you an idiom or a phrase or a proverb. Your job will be to either use it correctly or to pick up the correct meaning. Let us go ahead, dive into these questions, and then we'll be able to see that. So here is the first one. The question is, give the devil his due. What is this? What is this supposed to mean? Give the devil his due. Ankit, look at this. Is in crisis in militaries. Would that even make sense? What meaning does it really give you? Is in crisis among, I mean, militaries can face a crisis, but how can an idea be in crisis among a group of entities? Crisis is a situation. People can face a crisis. Okay, so to talk about the meaning here, first up, so you use give the devil his due when you want to. So let's say there is a person that you do not like, right? But yet you admire some good qualities in that person. So that is when you say this. Okay, give the devil his due. So it is said when you admit that someone you do not like or admire does have some good qualities. So say, I don't like the man, but give the devil his due. He works incredibly hard. Right. So the best answer as a result here is going to be option C. And some of us have soldier boy. What does it even mean? I just saw this. I just skipped it because it means nothing. Pay a bad money, a bride to avoid trouble. भाई पता नहीं कैसे इंटरप्रेट किया तुमने उसको, मैं तो इंटरप्रेट भी नहीं कर पाया था. So see it is, and here is the next one. Never look a gift horse in the mouth. What's your take? This should be easy, or so I hope. So there are times when you want to offer a piece of advice to someone, where you want that person not to refuse a gift, not to refuse something good that is being offered. So that is when you go ahead and say, I think you should just accept this position. You shouldn't really look a gift horse in the mouth. You shouldn't really wonder about why you are being offered this position and why now and all of that. So what comes closest to this idiom here is what is given to you in B, and therefore for question number 17 I'll go ahead and choose B. I saw this message. Sorry Shiva, I missed out on your message here. I missed out on replying to this earlier. How to improve vocabulary? I have taken a vocabulary strategy session on our YouTube channel earlier. You can go ahead and revisit it. If you haven't seen that, you can go ahead and watch that once. Just look for vocab strategy session Vikrant Katuria. You'd find it. It should pop up somewhere around here. Okay, here is the next one. Every Diwali I have a or an dash. Do come anytime. Should be easy, I guess. Oh yes, the correct answer is C, and since everyone has gotten this right, I think we can skip it. Oh, A. Every Diwali I have an open heart. That is not how open heart works. Moreover, in English we don't even say open heart. Yeah, it's a loose translation. In Hindi में होता है अपना बड़ा दिल है, खुला दिल है ना. In English we don't even use that. So an open heart is basically a heart which is literally been opened up, is being opened because of some surgery. Otherwise, you don't even use it. So open house. So open house basically in this context, in case you are confused, would mean a situation in which you welcome visitors at any time. Right? So when you say open house, anyone can come anytime. You don't need an invitation. You don't need an appointment. You can just come over. So C it is. And with that, let us dive into our next question, which is this. Ooh. So you have a blank and you have a choice of 4 idioms. You need to pick up the best one for this particular blank. Let's see what you choose. Yup, the correct answer is absolutely right here. The correct answer is indeed option C. Let's have a quick look at each one of these idioms. So the first one is created a hornet's nest. To create a hornet's nest basically means to create a very difficult and unpleasant situation, especially a situation where a lot of people are very angry and upset and are complaining. Then the next one is made a hash. So if you make a hash of something, then it means that you have done that thing very badly. Okay. Then see, made a beeline. So if you make a beeline for something, it means to move quickly and directly towards something. So you know what happens at the weddings? Guests just move quickly and directly towards the place where the buffet is. The moment it is announced, the moment you realize, oh, the food counters are open, people make a beeline. Then made a clean breast. Okay, if you make a clean breast of something, then it means that you tell the truth about that something. So for example, Ravi made a clean breast of it and admitted that he had stolen the money. Okay, so that's basically clean breast. Then FOF. Why vocab questions look so easy in test, but after seeing the answer key, it's all, hey, FOF, that's how life is, yaar. Can't help it. And I'm sure it does not happen always anyway. The correct answer was C. And here is the next one. The news about the new law has. What's your take? You need to use a bit of grammar. Rashika, I cannot give you the exact syllabus for Snap 23, but I can tell you what they've been asking over the last 3 years. So 15 questions of English. Out of the 15, then there are 3 broad areas. You have grammar-based questions, you have vocabulary-based questions, and you have 1 or 2 parajumbles, no reading comprehension. Okay, so the correct answer is indeed option B. That should basically work. Yeah, B it is. I can take you through the meanings of the other words. So to set the Thames on fire. Okay, this is a river in London. It's called Thames, although it is spelled with a TH. So set Thames on fire basically means to cause a lot of excitement, to lead to a lot of strong feelings. Then B, spread like wildfire simply means to spread very fast. Flash in the pan is something that has happened only once, or something that has happened only for a very short period of time, and it is unlikely to be repeated. So his success turned out to be a flash in the pan. And fire away is, there are times when you want to tell somebody that, okay, now you can begin asking me questions. Oh, okay, now you can ask me questions. So instead of saying now you can ask me questions, I'll say, okay, fire away. So it simply means ask your questions now. So the correct answer is indeed B. And Rashika, have a look at your question again. Will cat's syllabus be sufficient for the cat? Yes, but probably you wanted to ask something else. So here are the last couple of questions for you for the day. The first one is one word substitute. So, a place where government records are kept. What is that called? Vaibhav, CMAT is highly unlikely to be cancelled because this is the exam that government floated to replace all the other exams. So CMAT, very unlikely, very unlikely that it will be cancelled. TISNET definitely came as a surprise. In fact, I know some people, they're not a majority, but yeah, there are some people who just sit for TISNET because I mean, that's the only college that they are targeting, right? So yeah, that to give it to give that info so late, that definitely came as a shock. And yes, the right answer to this question is indeed option D. It is archive. What is a reservoir? What's a reservoir? What does the option C mean? Reservoir, a place for storing liquid, especially a natural or an artificial lake that provides water to a city is called a reservoir. Rashika, not really. You definitely need to work on grammar and vocabulary apart from whatever you've done for the cat. So grammar and vocabulary need to go ahead and give extra focus onto those. Okay, and here is your next question. A person who abstains from alcoholic drinks. Okay, so basically abstains is stays away. Easy. Okay, a dipsomaniac is somebody who drinks a lot. No, he drinks, in fact, he drinks compulsively. So, dipsomania is a strong need to drink alcohol. So, you know what mania is? Somebody who loves books. Then you have an obscurant. An obscurant is a person who obscures, right? He will in fact prevent you from moving towards right answers, right information. So an obscurant essentially is a person who tends to prevent human progress and enlightenment by obscuring the knowledge that is needed to move. But teetotaler is the answer, yes. So for question number 22, it should be D. So somebody who does not drink at all is known as a teetotaler. And with that, let me take you over to the last segment for the day, which is spelling based questions. So here is the first one for you. So there are 4 words here. One of these 4 words is spelt incorrectly. Can you identify that word? Which one of these is spelt incorrectly? Gopi, figure of speech questions were asked in IFT, but we no longer have IFT. They are also asked in ZAT occasionally. And then, yes, there have been occasions when even Snap has asked it. Not very frequently, but yeah. So just need to learn the major 20-25 odd figures of speech. The correct answer here is indeed D. Receipt is spelled with an EI. This is the correct spelling. And with that, let me take you over to the next one. Here it is. Okay, so the correct answer here is option C, where 40 is spelt without that U. It should be F-O-R-T-I. All the other words are correct. Some of us are very debtor. So it is number one, debtor. The B is silent here, and that's spelt absolutely correctly. Debtor is a person who has taken the debt, a person who owes the money to someone else. Okay, next one. What's your take on this one right here? Although I just realized this is not 22nd but the 25th question for us now. Not even paying attention to the numbers. तो सोचो एक्चुअल एग्जाम पूछता है 15, मैं पूछ रहा हूँ 25. FOF gone through, seen a lot of summers, so I know. Yup, the correct answer is indeed B, committee. It requires double M, double T, double E. So this gave you only one T and therefore it is incorrect. Current is the correct spelling. So basically a dried black raisin that is often used in cakes, etc. is current. So when you say remember blackcurrant ice cream, this is exactly what you put there. So this is correct. You do have one such word. So that's where we stop after 25 questions. Here is the schedule for the rest of the sessions in this particular series. So we don't have any session tomorrow, but a day after you'd meet Savitri ma'am, where she talk about verbal reasoning. On the 3rd, that is Sunday, you and I will meet once again where we pick up grammar. And then of course we have sessions on 4th and 5th, but I will also be here tomorrow at 12 where I talk about some more practice questions. Okay, so do turn up for that as well, and you can consider enrolling for our OMAT online classes. So we have this dedicated batch that helps you work on the test pattern, etc. of the other management entrance exams. And of course, since we are talking about SNAP, after every slot you'll find a detailed comprehensive analysis on 10th, 17th and 22nd right here. So stay tuned for that as well. So that's all that I've brought for you today. I look forward to meeting you guys once again tomorrow at 12, and then in a couple of days on Sunday with some grammar. Okay, so that's it.